Good evening, everybody. If you are watching after the fact, then please do feel free to skip ahead to qualifying. Timestamps will be in the description once the stream is completely published. Well, not live, but I'm just setting a few things up, so I'll see you guys in a moment. Right, hello Lifeout, hello Rick, how we doing? Hello everybody indeed, just waiting for a few more to join in. We've got a few latecomers I think. 4 minutes is the countdown for those who aren't here, it seems, so we'll be getting started in about 4 minutes time, so about 36 minutes past 7. It's been a little while since I was here. Quick shout out to, let me get his name. I don't want to say the guy who did comms last week because I feel like that's bad. I can actually just say his name. Give me 1 second. I'll look it up on ye old Discord. Cartataristic, is that it? Yeah, I think that's how you say it. Yeah, well done to Cartataristic for taking on the huge challenge that was commentating Monaco. I mean, commentating isn't exactly the easiest at the best of times, but when you're commentating a circuit with minimal racing action, there's definitely not all that much you can do. 4 people in the stream watching now. There are only 2 likes, so I'm going to reiterate, you know who you are. drop a like on the stream. I really do appreciate it. And if you're not subscribed to the Sumo Gilligan YouTube channel, then please feel free to do so, as I'm on the hunt for 100 subscribers. Not because I care all that much, because it would be cool. Hello RJ, welcome, welcome, welcome. It's nice to have you in the chat. Good luck this evening, and good luck to Lifebat and Rick as well. They are racing this evening as well. It's good to be back here in Tier 1. I don't always get to join you guys for your races. I tend to be working on Fridays, but I've been fortunate enough to be available this evening, so that is that. So it's stream number 1 of 2 this evening, as I'll be jumping on with Ghost after the race to do some ESRL. So if you want to see some ESRL Sprint Championship, then feel free to join us on Ghost's channel later on this evening. Around, I think it's around 9 o'clock, 9 past 15, 15 minutes past 9 for that stream. But right now it's the build-up for what is round 5 of an 8-round championship for Tier 1 at, of course, Portugal, as you can see there on the left of your screen. And yeah, I'll talk you guys through everything in a moment. I'll just use this time. Hello Hartman, it's nice to have you in the chat. Reserving tonight, it seems. Good luck, good luck. Drivers, fans also, good evening. To be honest, I think most of the people who watch at that point are mostly the drivers, if I'm being honest. But it looks like we're getting ourselves underway. Everybody is slowly starting to ready up, so I'll get myself ready. It's a shame we were looking at least 18, but it seems we're down a few. I think we might get a Jacko during qualifying. But anyway, good evening everyone, and welcome back to the commentary box for tonight's dose of racing action. I'm Sumo, your commentator for this evening, and I'm very glad to be bringing you the Tier 1 action this evening. It's round 5 of the Tier 1 Championship. We find ourselves among the slopes of the Algarve International Circuit in Portugal. 15 corners and a circuit length of 4.653 kilometres see us on a lap that is a roller coaster of a circuit that has some of the most drastic undulation of the tracks on the calendar. Drivers will have a real thrill in store racing around this circuit, but will have to be wary of turns 4 and 8, as they will catch out drivers who push that little bit too hard. Rick leads the Drivers' Championship then by countback going into tonight's race. He and Ghost are equal on 71 points and are sure to have quite the battle ahead. MX and Tinos sit within 1 point of each other, and the points... what? Sorry, I can't read my own writing, apparently. So MX and Tinos sit within 1 point of each other and within 3 points of the leading 2. All eyes shall be on the 4 of them this evening, as things seem to be heating up. All eyes should be on the 4 of them this evening, and things seem to be heating up in the midfield, as Slippy Jimmy and Lifebout squabble for best of the rest, sat on equal points as well. Williams lead the Constructors' Championship, closely followed by Red Bull and AlphaTauri. Ferrari and Alfa Romeo aren't too far behind either, but will be an uphill battle for the Tier 2 champ Tinos, as Aces isn't here this evening, so there's only one Scarlet car out on circuit at the moment. APPF1 Tier 1 is sponsored by High Dive Apparel, who are responsible for some awesome t-shirts, hoodies, beanies and much, much more. Please do go over to their website, highdiveapparel.com, and check them out, and go over to their Facebook and Instagram, all their socials, give them all the love and support that you show us over here. As it's very much appreciated. Hello, little Manny Man. Nice of you to join us this evening. Righty then, we're going to be getting up our bits. Normally I do that when Ghost is talking, but it's just me tonight. So we watch RJ as Jackalaco does join us this evening. Brilliant. Right, let me... Now... I found out that some of the corners around here actually have names. I don't know how to pronounce some of them, so I'm probably going to butcher them, but I'm going to get them up for you now. I know turn 8 is called Samsung, if I'm not mistaken. That's the turn that RJ Blair has just navigated through now. So that's Samsung, and then I think the next corner is Portimao, which is this one here. So that's the name of the well, the city in Portugal that this circuit is located near or at. And then the final corner, not the final corner, no, it's this corner here is Sagres. I do apologise if I am butchering these names. And then the final corner is Galp. Galp. Again, I don't know if I'm mispronouncing them, but anyway, RJ Blair then going to start the first of the qualifying laps this evening, coming down to Primera, I believe is what it's called, which is also known as turn 1. Back end sliding a little bit as he comes into turn 2, and then down toward turn 3. Lagos is the name of that corner. Tricky turn 4. Now you want to make sure you're careful with the power, or you will lose the car coming onto the first of the DRS straights on this lap. Now we come down to the Torre VIP, which is this left hand hairpin. You've got to really try and maximise your speed coming through the corner and focus on that exit. Now we come to the tricky part, this quick right-hander followed by turn 8, otherwise known as Samsung. Tricky corner, you can spin out very easy, and RJ does lose the car a little bit. That will affect his lap time, of course. Now he's coming round to the next couple of corners up towards Portimao now. These double right-hander here, late apex for the second part of the corner, and then focus on that exit, and then you're going straight up the hill there, round to the left, and then left again. You want to try and get that apex late as possible, find the best possible exit, and then get as wide as you can to get onto this next part and carry as much speed through. That's going to help you all the way down to this final flat out corner. That is Galp coming down toward the start finish straight. We're going to go off board with RJ Blair as he sets the initial pace this evening. He'll be followed closely by his teammate Lifebout in the other Alfa Romeo, who goes even faster, 2 seconds, so a 16.7. That's a great lap. I think that's Ghost coming up next. It is, it's a 16.9, a 2/10 off of the pace setter so far. That's MX with a 16.7, so it goes only 1/100th of a second faster. And here comes, is that Tinos on an out lap? It is, so we'll wait and see. SW has just joined. This is his first race in Tier 1. You may remember him from Tier 2. So we'll be wishing him all the luck. And if you're one of the Tier 2 guys, you know how fast he is. Wish him some luck. We've got a newbie this evening in the Papaya McLaren of URL Chris. Coming round the final corner now. They're going to set a representative lap time. Trying to throw down the gauntlet here in Tier 1, maybe had a mistake on the lap, setting a lap on mediums, but a 17.3 is a respectable time indeed. Jackalacco, the latecomer, the Scotsman, and my teammate for the Sprint Championship is on an out lap right now. What a move he did in Austria a couple of weeks ago. Everybody's still talking about that, mostly because of my reaction to it on the stream. But anyway, Tinol's coming through Portimao now, this double left-hander. Down the hill. It's such an undulating track, this circuit. It's incredible. It's just up, down. It's so immense to drive. I mean, all the circuits they added have been real experiences to drive. Jeddah, great to drive. Really fast street circuit. Portimao, just a roller coaster. And Imola as well. I mean, I haven't enjoyed Imola too much. But anyway, we're on about Portimao this evening as Tinos comes across the line. Tier 2 champion. It sets a 17.0. Not the fastest lap from the Tier 2 champ. Who do we look for now? Is SW crossing the line? He is. What time can SW set? It's a 17.5. Fairly decent lap from the Haas driver. Who will be next across the line? It's the Scotsman, of course, coming through the final couple of corners now. That's Lagos, that corner there. No, Sagres, sorry. I will get them right eventually. I will remember them. But Jackalacco coming along, 17.5. Not the best lap from the Scotsman. He'll be looking to go again. Trying to make sure I catch people who are on laps. That's Hartman with an 18.2. Fresh of almost winning the recent Tier 1 race round Jeddah, I believe it was. Out of all the circuits. But sits at the bottom with his teammate as well. An 18.2 and an 18.5 respectively. Let's see, Zidane coming through now on the medium tyre in that blue Alpine. I don't know what sort of colour to call it. It's like a, I don't know, it's, I guess blue, but it's like a velvet blue or something. I don't know. I'm just making stuff up. But anyway, here comes Zidane in the Alpine on those medium tyres. It's not going to be the fastest of the laps, but we'll see where it puts him. It's an 18.1, slowest of the medium runners out on circuit thus far. I think Tenos is coming into the pits. I think as to his SW, yes he is. So our championship leader is out on track right now, looking to set a lap. How about Demoniac then in the other Alpine coming through the final few corners, looking to set a lap time. It's a brilliant corner that you've got to carry so much speed. You can really ride that curb as well to just maximise the turning through that corner. But it's an 18.1, only a few hundredths of a second faster than his teammate thus far. It's a decent effort from Demoniac. Bossy Vamos coming round. That won't be a quick lap from him. Rick on an out lap. Ghost probably on an out lap as well. Yes, he is. So we're right on board then, I think, with our championship leader, because I think the Alpines are on in laps. So Rick will be the first lap. We'll ride on board with the Dutchman, currently leading on count back, as I said at the beginning of this session. Goes a little bit on the grass there on the run down to turn 1. It's a very quick corner. You've got to be very, very committed. And then turn 2 comes at you. And then turn 3, really got to be hot on the brakes. And Rick gets it just about right, it seems. Got to be super careful. And Rick just gets a little bit too much there. Gives it a little bit too much pepper. But he sets a purple sector 1. But that's not going to matter too much, as it's his first run out in the corner. Not too great through the hairpin. We want to clean that up on the next run. But down into these next 2 corners now. Here's Samsung, that tricky right-hander that's very easy to lose the car, and Rick navigates that well. Coming down the hill now, up to this left-hander, then the double right-hander. That is Portimao corner. I'm trying to remember these corner names. Coming up left up the hill. It's not the best lap from the young Dutchman, but he's got plenty of time to improve that lap time. Setting purples, but that's not representative. Ignore those purple sector times from this Red Bull car. He's coming around the final corner now. We're right off board as the car swings its way through the final corner of Galp, coming down towards the line. It's still a relatively decent lap, but it's not too fast. He goes off about 100th slower than his teammate. Here comes Ghost, 4-time sprint champion. Tier 1 has not been too kind to him in recent seasons, but he's definitely having a better one. But this lap is definitely not an improvement for my co-commentator, and MX is slowing down as well, so no dice for the German-Canadian. How about the Alfa Romeo pairing of RJ and Lifebout? I think they're going to get some decent laps. Lifebout might get a bit of a tow from his teammate here as well, and Lifebout up in the top 2 right now. RJ, poor lap from RJ. How about Lifebout? Any improvement? No, it was an out lap for RJ, or at least the beginnings of a hot lap. Is that URL Chris? Yeah, that's Chris there. SW as well. Who's out on a lap? Is Rick setting another lap? No, he's not. How about it's Eat My Dust? Eat My Dust is on an out lap. How about, is it Ghost? Ghost is going for it then, so we'll follow him along. He's coming up to Portimao. Through that double right-hander he goes, looking to get a nice clean exit to then go down the hill. That's looking good. It's purple through sector 2 for the AlphaTauri, so this could be provisional pole position for car number 27. Coming through the final corners now, that's Sagres. I will get it. Sagres or Sagre, however you want to pronounce it. And then through Galp comes the AlphaTauri. It's looking like a much better lap time from Ghost. It's a 16.8, so only a minor improvement, and doesn't see him move any positions at the moment. Is that MX coming through as well? Not quite seeing if he's on an improved lap, but it looks like it as he comes down toward the line. It is. It's a 16.5 from the Williams driver. That's an incredible run. And Lifebout goes even quicker with a 16.3. What a lap. The lap times are tumbling down. We might see some new lap records this evening. How about URL Chris? That's a 16.393. So the newbie in the McLaren setting himself to be a challenger in this race this evening. As he throws down the gauntlet and takes provisional pole position for now. SW coming across the line, having a hard time in that Haas car here in Tier 1. for the moment. Let's ride on board then with Eat My Dust. One of the last two drivers to be setting a lap. I think Womack will be the last one after him. He's coming down towards the final couple of corners now. So we'll watch Eat My Dust come across the line. It's a 17.8. Not the best lap, but he's on the medium tyre though. No, Womack is way down in this sort of back pack of traffic here. So we'll wait and see what happens. Is that Zidane? It is Zidane there. That's RJ. Tinoz is on a lap, I think. So let's watch the Ferrari come through Portimao now. Let's have a look at that time. It's a 27, excuse me, 200ths of a second up on his previous best as the Alpine gets out of the way for the Ferrari driver coming through Segres now and down to on the run to Galp, very wide, and that invalidates the lap. That is a shame for the Ferrari. How about Womack's Ghost teammate, of course, AlphaTauri, well in the fight. LB is joining us now this evening as well. One of the reserve drivers. It's an 18.2, not the best lap from the AlphaTauri, but he's finally got a benchmark time down. Hartmann, reserve driver, not having the best of qualifying sessions at the moment. He's lamenting down in P14. I'm sure he will come out and improve. For now, that's Zidane. He's on an out. That's Demoniac, actually. I do apologise. RJ not on a lap for now, so I think Zidane will be the next to set a lap time. Let's have a sip of tea. Car number 30 coming through this sector. We'll have a look at that sector time as he comes through on the soft tyres now, opposed to the mediums that he set a lap on before. He's 2/10 up. This will see him get his way into the top 10, perhaps, if he can find that time in through these last couple of corners. Coming through what is turn 13, or is it just 14? I think it's one long corner. I do have the track map up on one. Yeah, it's just one long corner. But through the final corner now for Zidane. Coming down toward the line, and it's into the pits. It's not a good lap from the Alpine. That Womack's into the pits as well. It certainly is. Bossy Vamos on an out lap. I think that's RJ ahead of Hartmann, who will definitely be coming into the pits. Then he goes. So Hartmann then looking to improve his time. I didn't see his sector times when I switched over to his view. It's a 1:18.1, so still down on those times. Although does put himself in P12 actually, so a better lap from the Mercedes. Demoniac 2/10 down. It's not what he wants to see on those soft tyres. He must have had a mistake somewhere during the lap. Let's ride on board with Bossy Vamos then. Not too far off his time at the moment on the medium tyres. Of course, in real F1 now, you don't have to start on the tyre you qualified on, but this is still F1 2021. We've still got a few weeks left of this year's game. I am very excited. I'm sure you guys are very excited. Good evening, Scott. Nice to have you with us. I hope you've got your practice in for the race later, if you're racing over in ESRL. And I'll be rooting for you. Good old win. Down through the final corner coming Bossy Vamos then, looking to set a faster lap time on those medium tyres. Perhaps not going to do it this time. We'll see. Comes down towards the line, goes the fraction faster by 0.05 of a second, but it's not too much of an improvement. I think we're about to start seeing the final runs of everybody now. Hartmann and Demoniac have just set laps, so they might come into the pits and put on some fresh tyres, but I think it's going to be MX then. So the German-Canadian in the Williams fighting with Lifebout, the Dutchman, and URL Chris, new member of APPF1, already putting on a good show this evening and hoping to maybe take pole position away from the Dutchman. But MX comes through sector 1. He's 200ths of a second up. It's a purple sector 1 for the Williams as that Haas of SW gets itself out of the way. Down into the next couple of corners, into Samsung for the Williams. Got to be very careful not to spin on the exit of there, and MX has been careful not to do so. And then down the hill on this run through Sector 2. I don't know if he's backed off. He looks like he's going a little bit slower. He is, yeah. He's backed off now. He's going to try and go again. So we're right on board with one of the Red Bulls who was next behind him. Rick's on an out lap, so that won't be anything for him. I think SW had to give way. So he'll be looking to run again. They've got plenty of time to get to the line. LB is here in the other Ferrari, so Ferrari won't be down on points, I'm sure. Absolutely zero. Yeah, I mean, at this point, too much practice just kills me. At this point, URL Chris, 200ths of a second up. I'm just trying to see who's on a lap. Here's Ghost, as he says, fastest Sector 2. So this could be a lap that challenges for pole position from the AlphaTauri. Coming through turn 14 now, on that run down to Galp, the final corner of this circuit. Flat out right-hander all the way down to the line. Don't give in, don't let the throttle go as Ghost comes up to the line now. What lap time is it? It's a 1:16.5. No improvement from the AlphaTauri as I think that's LB. No, Tinoz comes to start his lap, so we'll keep an eye on that. But it's all eyes on URL Chris, the newbie. He's a 10th of a second up. This could see him pip life bout for pole position here. It's a 16.2 from the McLaren. That's a great lap time. How about Womack? He's coming across the line now. He's 3/10 of a second up. It won't be for pole position, but let's see if he gets himself into the top 10. No, it's only good enough for P12 at the moment. Who's that coming across the line now? It's nobody coming across the line now. Lifebout's in the pits, so he doesn't think he can improve. RJ in the pits as well. Doesn't think there's an improvement out there for him. MX 200ths up, no improvement. I think everyone's been a little bit disheartened by it, but not Rick. He's 4/10 of a second up on his previous best, but it's not good enough to challenge the top 4. Is that SW as well? It is. He goes into P5. A good showing from the X Tier 2 driver. No laps then from LB. Jacko coming across the line, but it's invalidated, so it's Tinoz now who will be next across the line. Can the Tier 2 champion challenge for pole position this evening? He's coming down the final straight now. This is looking like a decent lap from the Ferrari. It's a 1:16.9 that sees him up into P5. That's a good showing. How about Ghost into the pit lane? Nothing from the 4-time sprint champion. Turn 14 for Womack. He's a 10th up. I'm not sure he's going to have enough fuel or ERS left to finish this lap. He comes through the final corner now. It could be quite the improvement. Could see him just get himself into the top 10 perhaps. No, just shy. Strategical pole position for the Bulgarian. But I think that is your lot. That is going to be qualifying as URL Chris takes pole position on his debut. Remember, guys, if you are watching, sorry, I was just reading a message. Remember, guys, if you are watching the stream currently, please make sure to give it a like and subscribe to the channel if you haven't done so already. There's 9 of you watching and 4 likes. You guys know who you are. If you haven't left one thus far, you don't want to miss out on any of the Tier 1 action this evening as URL Chris takes his maiden pole position. Another Bulgarian on the circuit. It's great to see. With Lifebout, the Dutchman, taking P2 and joining the McLaren on the front row. MX and Ghost lock out the second row in 3rd and 4th respectively, with Tinoz and SW joining them on row number 3. Rick, Demoniac, Jackalacco and RJ Blair round off the top 10, with Womax on strategical pole position, the other pole position on the grid for the Bulgarians, so well done to locking out both pole positions. With Eat My Dust, Hartman, Zidane, Bossy Vamos and LB rounding off the rest of the grid. Not a great lap from LB, but he didn't have much time to set one. So then quite the race we've got in store for you this evening, please make sure you have liked the stream and subscribed to the channel, and please also go check out all of our other APPF1 affiliates as well. And if you're in the live chat right now, I'll give you predictions for the podium. Perhaps I'll give mine over the formation lap, I guess, as we gear up for this race. Still got some tea left. I'm going to finish that. Right, my water here. Tinnell's win. It would help him out in the championship, I'd imagine. But URL Chris does look very quick, but it was very close between everybody on that qualifying session, especially the top 5 cars or so. With Tinnell's being in the top 5, there we go. MX and Ghost in there. Rick, championship leader, way down. Terrible, well, not the best qualifying from the young Dutchman, but he'll definitely try and make up for it in the race. I'm sure quite a savvy racer when it comes to it. Excuse me. It's looking like a 2-stop race for everybody then. Soft, soft, medium, or soft, medium, medium. Maybe some people could stretch it to a 1-stop. Maybe we'll have a safety car. It's 33 laps of racing around this circuit, 50% distance. So 33 instead of 66. But yes, I think URL Chris could see himself up on the podium. I'm going to go for an MX win, Tinnell's P2, URL Chris P3. That's my predictions. Please hold me to it. MX, Rick and Lifebound for Scott Marshall. Scott cheering on MX in the Williams. I'm sure he'll be happy to hear about that. We'll have a look at tyre strategies then, as Womack's on a strategical pole position. Is starting on the medium tyres with Eat My Dust and Bossy Vamos and LB joining him on the same compound of tyre, with LB not wearing his racing helmet. I'm sure the FIA will have something to say about that. He's also got Carlos Sainz's car number too. Zidane and Hartmann will start on the soft tyres then, so expect to see them shoot up the grid off the starting line with the superior grip, but we will go and cut back to the front and ride along with URL Chris, our pole sitter this evening, and looking to convert pole position into a race win. Bossy for driver of the day. I'm sure Bossy is very fast on his day, and I'm sure will find himself in a very good position come the end of this race. And here we go then. He really does, doesn't he? Their expressions look so dead in the cockpit. It's great. Right, we're waiting for the green flags. There they are. They're being waved. You can see the marshals just on the left there, waving them away. We wait for those lights now. We try and get that camera angle. I think that's the only one it's going to give us. There we go. There, it's 3, 4, 5 red lights for the Portuguese Grand Prix. And away they go. It looks like a good start from Lifebout, but phase 2 of the start's got even better for the McLaren. MX challenges the Alfa Romeo around the outside of turn 1. They go side by side. Ferrari and AlphaTauri as well. Red Bull and Haas going side by side, 2 by 2. They go into the through corners. The McLaren has got away well, and the Alfa Romeo of Lifebout has defended his position from MX for the moment. Tinnell's getting up past Ghost. They're going to go side by side into the hairpin. The MX looking for a way through. The Haas dives up the inside. A little bit of contact there. Not too serious from them all. The Red Bull of Rick getting squeezed off by SW as they come out of the hairpin, but a very decent start from a lot of the drivers as Rick gets up in position, and SW goes all sorts of wrong and loses not 1 but looks like 2 positions perhaps as they come down the hill. Now they sprint down the hill. SW defends the inside line, which then turns into the outside as they come into the Portimao corner and loses out that place. Jack Calaco looking to make a move on the Haas car as well. They continue to go side by side, but the Red Bull having to give way, and now RJ's all over the back of the Scotsman. Scotsman trying to find a way through. SW is slowing these guys up perhaps and goes very deep into turn 14 and loses 2 positions now as well as Jacko and RJ find their way through the pack. And Eat My Dust 2, Zidane getting through as SW got damage. He peels into the pit lane. It looks like he might have received some damage on that opening lap. That is not the start of the race he would have wanted at all. 5 seconds of speeding in the pit lane as well to add to his woes. We cut back to the front of the grid then. We've got a 7-car battle for P1 at the moment. But it's really a bit more than that. But URL Chris has got away incredibly well. And we'll be looking to get that gap as we've had a spin. That's Womax and Bossy Vamos. I'm not sure what happened, but Turn 4 has claimed its first victims this evening as Chris is just opening up that gap and settling into this race. But Lifebout keeping him honest with MX, Tinos, Ghost and Rick all chasing behind. DRS will be activated on the next lap, so expect to see cars going on the attack then. But for now, they're going to sit in single file. But Chris opening up that lead, 1.1 already. This is a great start from the McLaren. MX looking for a way to get past Lifebout. We've got a little bit of action further down. I think Zidane's had a bit of an incident. He's off the circuit. That's a shame for the Alpine. He was looking to make a good start on those soft tyres. Hartman's got away well on the soft compound. It's good stuff for him. Lifebout needs to try and close that gap to the McLaren. Ghost all over the back of the Ferrari of Tinnels. A little bit of contact there as Ghost hits the back of him. Looks to go up the inside of turn 4. Not quite going to be close enough. Opens up that rear wing to give him that little extra speed down toward the hairpin. That's a very weird camera angle, but Ghost dives up the inside. Gets P4 off Tinnels, who looks to cut back under him. But I think Ghost has got the measure of the Ferrari as they come up the hill and towards Samsung. Tinnels and Rick looking to try and come off the Ghost with Demoniac and Jacko not too far behind. Will we see a diving move from the Scotsman this evening? Perhaps we will. It would be nice to have a repeat, as always. You always know when Ghost is pushing, he's actually uses... Yeah, that's it. Ghost is very stingy when it comes to ERS. It's like Mr. Krabs of ERS management or usage. He's always got a lot of ERS in the tank available to use. Ghost is a very smart racer. He's won 4 sprint championships for a reason. And not just because he got Vardy to crash these competitors out. Eat My Dust and RJ having a little bit of a scrap going into the first corner as Eat My Dust gets past the McLaren of Eat My... not the McLaren, gets past RJ into the first corner. It's a little bit settled now, but MX is getting on the back of Lifebout, trying to find a way through, but it's not too much. It's just everyone's settling into this DRS train they've got at the moment. Chris is stretching his legs. He's not got to push or worry too much about the cars behind him. He's doing incredibly well at the moment. That's a very Lando Norris-esque helmet. I wonder who his favourite driver is. As MX is really pushing now. Lifebout is feeling the pressure. That Williams is all up in the mirrors of that Alfa Romeo and really trying to make the Dutchman make an error. I do apologise for the brief silence as MX is getting slightly closer to the back of Lifebout. RJ and Eat My Dust seem to be having quite the scrap between them. They're going side by side as RJ's trying to find a way around the outside. Use the grip of those soft tyres while he has it. It gets a little bit out of shape on the exit of turn 3. MX getting close to the back of Lifebout, but still no dice for the German as he tries to find a way into P2 to chase after URL Chris, who has opened up that gap to 1.8 seconds now. It's quite the performance from the McLaren. RJ looking to get his way up. There's a lot of battles on the circuit. We've got a battle for P9, we've got a battle for P4, and a battle for P2 at the moment. But it's all the same as it is as far as top 5 drivers are concerned. We'll look at position changes. See Rick's up a place, Demoniac up a place, Jacko up a place. Eat My Dust up 3 places, LB up 5 places. That was a good start. A lot of drivers had a little bit of a mare at the beginning of the race. A few penalties being doled out already as well. But we'll keep an eye on the tyre strategies as we go along. MX still no closer to the back of Lifebout. Tinoz still the same with Ghost as well. Ghost all one stop. Yeah, he's probably tyre saving. That is a fairly decent call as RJ and Eat My Dust are yet again battling away with one another, and it's invited LB into the scrap now as well. I think they're going side by side into the hairpin. Not quite as the Ferrari tucks into the side, but the McLaren goes for a dive up the inside of RJ. Doesn't work out too much. That opens the door for LB to have a look around the inside, which then becomes the inside for the next corner, and it doesn't quite work. Perhaps he backed off. It is a fast left-hander. Very hard to get the move done there, but some clean, great racing from the pair of them there. This battle for P9 is hotting up nicely. We've got another spinner. That's Bossy. I think driver of the day might be out of reach right now, but you never know what will happen in motor racing. Hartmann is doing well to stay with LB and Eat My Dust for the moment in that Mercedes car. Hopefully he'll get up a few more places and have a decent result this evening. MX a little bit closer this time, but still just not close enough to get the pass done. Lifebout is managing it well, and but I think MX perhaps thinks he's got the pace in him to chase after Chris, as Lifebout gets his first time penalty of the session. It's 3 seconds for the Dutchman for exceeding the track limits is the word that I was looking for. Keep an eye on this battle down here as LB's all over the back of that McLaren. Hartmann's just on the tail end of this as well. He'll be looking to pick up the pieces if anything does go wrong in this fight for P9 at the moment. As Eat My Dust just comes through that final corner there, they're going to be on the advantage in the pit stops. Perhaps when drivers do come in, they can go a lot longer into this race. Maybe go for a one-stop, go medium to hard, or maybe take those mediums far enough to then go onto the soft tyre. I'm not quite sure. We'll have to keep an eye on the strategy, as there's a few different things you could perhaps do, especially if you're good at saving those tyres. Lifebout's closed up to URL Chris for a little bit there, just fractionally closing up to the McLaren. But it's still staying stationary at the moment as Tinoz has dropped a little bit back, as Jackalacco is then the first to dive into the pit. We'll see what tyre he goes on, but LB looking to make a move on the McLaren, not quite close enough on that occasion. We'll cut back to Jackalacco. He's got a wing change as well, so that's an unplanned pit stop for the Red Bull. That is a shame for him, but onto a fresh set of mediums he goes. Another driver not to take a helmet as RJ spun at turn 4. Another victim has been claimed by that horrible, horrible corner as RJ yields yields that position through a mistake. Eat My Dust left to fend off LB, who seems to have quite a bit of pace in that Ferrari at the moment. Could be a decent result for the Scarlet Cars, who are looking to try and close that gap up a little in the Constructors' Championship. Let me get the Constructors' Championship standings up for you guys now. The Ferraris sit 7 points off their nearest rival, which is AlphaTauri, and then that will be 14 points off the lead and 12 points off of P2 in the championship. Eat My Dust going all the way to the inside, trying to cut the toe of that Ferrari, moves back over as well, but the closing speed of LB is incredible. He's all over the back, not close enough to make a move into the first corner, but if he can get the exit out of the next couple corners, turn 3 and 4, he can really try and make it. Then MX even closer, but again, no chance for an overtake. It's a bit of a procession out here this evening, as Eat My Dust is using all of his ERS. He's actually used the majority of his ERS. He's only got 14% left. It's only 9 laps. You've got to save that stuff for when you need it. But I guess he needs it to try and keep LB behind. But LB is going to get past him very soon, I'd imagine, with that ERS advantage that the Ferrari has. MX still looking to chase after that gap has opened up even more. 2.2 seconds to URL Chris. He's just stretching his legs as Rick's making a move on Tinnels. He looks to go around the outside of turn 14, sticks it all the way around there. Tinnels gives him the space, and they're going to continue this battle coming down into the final corner. And Rick looks to go to the inside. He's all over the back of that McLaren, Ferrari, filling the mirrors of the Scarlet car, and they're going nose to tail in towards turn 1. Rick dives to the inside and makes the move, squeezes Tinnels off the circuit for a moment, and he sticks it. That does the Italian Tinnels as he comes around turn 3 and fends off the Ferrari, who then looks to switch up to the inside. Demoniac's coming to the pits, but this is the battle we're focusing on at the moment, as Rick and Tinnels really going at each other in those that complex of corners there. Here comes LB then. I think he's got past the McLaren, and the McLaren's looking to come back at him. Tried to go around the outside, but LB wasn't having any of that at all and fended him off well, and he's going to look to stretch his legs and get on the back of this fight for P4. We've got a yellow flag. That's Bossy Vamos again, I think, having a spin. That is a shame for the Mercedes. Was really looking to have a decent race, but is struggling out there at the moment. Rick looking very racy in sector 3, I must say. He's all over the back of Tinnels and really trying to push off the Ghost. He's the championship leader, of course. If things finish the way they are, Ghost would take the lead of the championship back on points. We'll have a look, see if we can see our fastest lap holder right now. That's URL Chris, looking very fast out there. Is that McLaren on debut? He's going to take a grand slam if things end the way that they are now. Rick trying to get past that Ferrari, not quite. He's all over the back of him though. Maybe a little bit of contact there. Needs to be careful or he'll end up with some wing damage and have to make a pit stop. That will definitely impact his race quite heavily. That gap just opening and opening and opening up for URL Chris. He could pit and probably come out in the lead still. It's incredible stuff from the debutant, and will definitely be one to watch continuing on with the championship, as things seem to calm down a little bit now as we start approaching the pit stop time. I think Jacko and Demoniac and SW and Bossy, no, Bossy don't think has come in actually. We'll have a look. Pit stops, it's that way, is it? No, there it stops. Yeah, Bossy has finally come into the pits then, but he's going to be way down. That is a shame, and a bunch of them dive into the pit lane. That was Ghost, Tinnels and Rick all diving in then, and following Bossy, who comes in the lapped car of Bossy now, who comes into the pit lane. It's hard tyres for Rick, so a one stop for him and for Ghost as well. Tinnels onto the mediums. They come out all holding position. Look how close the Ferrari and the Alpha and the Red Bull are as they come out racing. Tinnels will hold the advantage as he has the grippier tyre for the moment, and those hards are going to be difficult to warm up, but they will definitely go to the end of the race. So keep an eye on this battle as it develops. Lifebout has actually been overtaken by MX. I didn't see that. I do apologise, but MX has finally got past and is looking to start closing that gap to URL Chris, and perhaps challenging for the lead of this race. You can see him, he's just a few corners ahead. He's 2.6 seconds that MX has got to close up. He's a fast driver, is that Williams car, so I'm sure if anyone can do it, then he can. Tinoz all over the back of Ghost now. It's got the warmer tyres, they're up to temperature now. Those hards will need probably another half a lap to properly get up to racing temperature. But Ghost is a very savvy racer. He knows what he's doing. As URL Chris, our race leader, comes into the pit lane. He's put on a set of fresh medium tyres. Let's see where he comes out. He's going to come out in relatively clean air. That's going to help him big time in this fight. Zidane is up into P5. That's an incredible run from him. Where did he start? He's up 9 positions, 13 positions for LB. So he's really found himself in a good position right now. But URL Chris coming out in a very, very good position to keep that race lead. It's up to MX and Lifebound now to throw down the gauntlet to our race leader at the moment. And go back on board with this battle here. Tinoz has got past the AlphaTauri of Ghost. I apologise for missing how he did that. But those medium tyres paying off for the moment. But it's only a matter of time before Tinoz either comes in again or starts being reeled in by Ghost and Rick on those hard compound tyres. Bossy on the hards as well, going for that one-stop strategy. As Lifebound and MX both come in, this is going to be interesting to watch then. Eat My Dust is the first McLaren, so URL Chris coming up to turn 15 now. We'll see where he comes out. I think he's going to come right back out into the lead of this race. It's looking pretty certain for the McLaren. Let's see, Lifebound on the move already. MX on the move already. Look to the left of your screen right now. Yeah, URL Chris out already and back into the lead of this race. As LB, My Dust and Zidane are still yet to come in. But no buts, no change in the time. I was looking at URL Chris's gap, and the gap between the two hasn't come down at all. But MX will have the fresher tyres, so we'll have a slight advantage over URL Chris. But I think they will have to come in again. So keep an eye on Ghost and Rick, who are running that one-stop strategy. As long as a safety car doesn't come out, they could be in quite a good position come the end of the race. Switch on Demoniac, looking to maybe pick off one of these two on the softer compounded tyre, on the medium, so more grippy, more to work with as URL Chris now. Let's see how he races. He's got Zidane just ahead of him, the debutant in the McLaren, having a great race out there on his debut, looking to take a Grand Slam victory. Perhaps likes this track quite a bit. Not a lot of ERS in the tank though. He's used quite a lot of it already. He's going to have to go on URS saving mode. That's a fairly simple overtake for the McLaren as they come down in towards turn 1, and he'll look to just stretch out that gap. MX is already done. We've got a spin. That's RJ at turn 8. Turn 8 claims his first victim. Samsung. That corner is horrible for spins, and has been proven there as Jacko gets up past Womack into turn 1, probably under DRS supervision. As Ghost fends off Rick for now. Tinoz is already 1.4 seconds up the road, so the hard tyres not paying off for the moment for the pair of them, but they will definitely start to come back to their own toward the end of the race. Lifebound trying to stay with MX at the moment. We've got another spin. Is that Hartman? No, that's Bossy again. Really not having a good day is Bossy Vamos EU. That is a shame for him. But look at that gap already. Chris is really just opening it up now. Let's see what the gap is as MX gets past Zidane, who comes to the pit lane 3.3 already. But that lack of ERS might come back to bite him. Come toward the end. That's Demoniac there trying to get past Rick. No dice for the moment. These two just holding station for the moment. MX and Lifebound have been inseparable this entire race. and continue to stay as Womack is retired in the pit lane. That's a shame for the Bulgarian driver. He's not had the best of races, it seemed. May have got caught up in some incidents, but has unfortunately had to retire. Another yellow flag as Bossy just letting everybody through. I'd imagine with a yellow flag in sector 1, there's a little bit of a glitch perhaps for everybody. LB going very long into this race, but he did start on those mediums, so it'd be interesting to see what tyre they come out on. I think LB's in the pits, is he? No, he's carrying on. He just went and looked like he was going in there. Eat My Dust is closing that gap on him. McLaren 2-3 at the moment, but that McLaren will probably drop back a few places once it comes in for its stop. Not too much going on at the moment. Lifeboat trying to close in on MX, but does not get close enough at all. These two need to try and work together if they can and find the pace within themselves to catch up to Chris, who has opened up a mighty lead and is looking set to take the win of this race. It's still too early to say though, as anything can happen in motorsport, but it definitely looks certain for the time being. Demoniac still hanging on this little gap. That's Bossy again. Out of turn 4, he's spin. I know how that feels, Bossy. It's just very unfortunate. But if you hold out, you still get some points at the end, so you're not losing too much. Ghost and Richter's holding on. I'm sure they'll be looking to start reeling Tinnels back in. He's opened up a second since the last time we checked in on this fight for P7 at the moment. As he's looking to close up on Lifeboat and MX, who are 4.8 seconds up the road. Not doing so quite now. He's dropped down one place. But when LB and Eat My Dust come in, I will be interested to see where they come. It could be a decent result for the Ferraris this evening. But we'll have to wait and see. Have a look there. Let's see who's going to be the biggest gainer. If things change at the moment, McLaren are sat toward the bottom, so this race they're not racing for a championship, but it's been a great performance from especially URL Chris for the moment. Williams, there's only one Williams this evening, so they'll be missing out on some points, and I think Red Bull might be the ones to get the lead of the championship at the end of this race, as they have both cars still in the race. Ghost is on his own at the moment, and Ferrari will close up as well and perhaps find themselves amongst the top 3 once all is said and done. But we got to move. That's Lifeboat up the inside of MX, as I've been talking about the championship, and he's finally got the move done. He said, out of the way, pal. I'm going to see if I can close this gap to URL Chris. It's 4.1 seconds, but MX is going to look to come back at the Dutchman, but it's not going to be close enough. It's not a very long straight. You really need to have the better exit in order to even think about making a move. Speaking of moves, SW up the inside of Hartmann and gets past the American for P11 at the moment. It's Haas versus Mercedes. Very common sight, especially this in the Formula 1 season this year. Haas is racing Mercedes. You wouldn't have thought it this time last year, I'd imagine, as Hartmann looks to come back at the Haas car, but doesn't find a way through. But SW, very little ERS. Same story for Hartmann, but Zidane looking at sat on almost a full battery, so if he could be patient, he could find his way ahead of the pair of them as they fight for P11. Ghost starting to close up on Tinnels now. That advantage of the mediums hasn't lasted all that long, as Lifebout sets your fastest lap of a 1 minute 19.0 and has already closed a tiny bit, only a tenth, but that's a good start from the Alfa Romeo, and I'm sure we'll have a lot more battery to use in the McLaren up ahead as SW peels into the pit lane. Could be a retirement for the Haas perhaps, or just a pit stop. He's been on those tyres for 17 laps actually, so that's a planned pit stop for SW as he comes in. Yeah, look, Ghost closing in a little bit. Lifebout trying to close the gap to Chris at the moment, but it's just not working. I think these mediums could definitely go another 13 laps, I'd have said, especially since SW has taken them that far, but they definitely won't appreciate it, I don't think. Ghost closing in, 4 tenths already is closed on Tinos, so Tinos starting to struggle, so it might not be the case. 19 laps, by the way, 20 laps now for LB and Eat My Dust, so they're really committing to this medium soft strategy, so they're going to be very, very racy come the end of this race. Chris is closing and closing as the seconds go by, and Lifebout once again finds himself even further away from Chris, who has been absolutely dominant for this entire race this evening. Go back on board then with the hard runners of Ghost and Rick. Rick all over the back of that Alpha Tauri. I think he's trying to set up a move on his sprint teammate. Is Rick. He's looking all over the back. He's opened up the DRS. He's not quite going to make a move yet. It'll be into the first corner if any moves are to be made. And I think that's once again Bossy, who has gone for a little spin. As SW now gets a 3-second time penalty for track limits infringements. SW into the pits again. I think damage this time for the Haas. His day going from bad to worse at the moment. We'll continue to ride on board with Ghost, Rick and Demoniac as they've still all sat stationed, as LB has finally come into the pit lane then. So it's a McLaren 1-2 provisionally now. Let's see where LB comes up. We're actually running on board with Bossy for whatever reason. He's going to come out behind Lifebout and MX then, and perhaps even behind Ghost, Rick and Demoniac as well. So keep an eye on the left hand of the screen. It'll be the right hand now. Back to the left. So LB, yeah, right on the back of this fight. So he might be, he's looking to cut his way through, and Chris takes the lead then. His teammate lets him through into the lead of this race. To just sail away and very quietly take the win after taking a great pole position and really throwing down the gauntlet as the guy to beat coming as we go into the final 3 races after this. MX and Lifebout still at each other. Still inseparable as they go. Hartman still not has been passed by Zidane, actually. I missed that as well. That's you think it'd be easy to find battles on the track, but I'm looking and looking and looking, trying to find them. I always seem to keep missing them as Eat My Dust comes in, so we'll see where he comes out. LB, I think, came out in relatively clear air. He did. So Eat My Dust may have been compromised when he let past his teammate. So let's see, softs as well for the McLaren. Let's see where he comes out. LB is going to be the next car. They might be racing. LB sets fast this sector 3 and he gets up ahead of Eat My Dust, who is way back on LB. He's actually gained some time on him. Jacko into the pits, so the 2-stop strategy for the Red Bull, and I think a few others as well. As we go a little bit further on, we'll wait and see if the top guys do come in for a second stop. They've got 10 laps of this race left, but LB and Eat My Dust both did make it 20 laps. Meanwhile, Ghost has closed that gap to 1.3, so the advantage of the hard tyre really coming to pay dividends now, as Ghost has closed up to that Ferrari, who seems to really be struggling, and I'd imagine Demoniac is struggling equally so, if not worse, as he's on 12 lap old medium. So we'll wait and see what everybody does, what the strategy calls are. But I think seeing that LB and Eat My Dust went as far as they did, I think those medium runners in the top 4 might stay out. But Tinnels is definitely under threat. He'll be looking in his mirrors behind him as that AlphaTauri races along. But not a lot of ERS for Ghost. Rick, neither as well. They've really used a lot, actually, to push up to Tinnels, who has 38% battery. So more than the two of them combined. It's very unlike Ghost to have that little ERS in the tank, as Rick is looking to make a move down toward the hairpin. Is he? He just sits behind. He holds station for now. He's working with Ghost, I think, to try and catch Tinnels and get past that Ferrari. MX is in a good position to take the lead of the Drivers' Championship here. He will gain 2 points on Ghost and 3 on Rick, and MX sits 2 points behind the both of them. So I think MX will take the lead on countback, as he has more wins than Ghost does at the moment. So MX is looking good to take the championship lead, but we're going to have quite the championship on our hands. It's the final 3 rounds coming up in the coming weeks, so definitely championship not to miss a single moment of. It's so close between the guys at the top, and I think there's a few, there's no, well, it's just Rick, Ghost, MX and Tinnels, the 4 gladiators battling away for the championship rights, or championship bragging rights for Tier 1 in its final season of the 2021 F1 Codemasters game, as we look to transition over to F1, well, yeah, F1 22 in a few months' time. Give everyone enough time to get used to the game and used to the new cars. I don't know if you've seen the spotlight that was released fairly recently about the handling model, but the cars do look like a handful to drive. The lower ride heights, the cars riding lower to the ground, means that setups now, you can't be as low to the ground as you can on this year's game. You've really got to be off the ground as it were, and a new tyre model as well. You've really got to be careful with that. Traction is there's a lot more traction to be had, but it's lost a lot easily, and the same with grip. There's more grip on offer, but it can be lost very, very easily with minimal effort. And as I've been blabbering on about next year's game, LB is close into the back of Demoniac and is looking to set the move up. Fastest sector 1 from the Ferrari down the inside. That was a clean pass from LB, who is now getting his teeth into this battle. And Rick and Ghost have a new threat to worry about, as is a charging Scarlet Ferrari making his way up the positions and looking for P5, as actually Ghost has a time penalty. Have a look at our penalty situation. 3 seconds for Lifebout, Ghost and Demoniac, 6 for Hartman, 9 for SW and 12 for Bussing Vamos. There'll be real big advantage on those softs. Eat My Dust has still got a lot of ground to cover. There's not too many laps left. We're coming into the final 5 laps of this race now. Well, final 77, 28, 29, 30, 31, 32, 33, 7 laps of this race then, including this one. As URL Chris is just really open that gap up and go side by side, go LB and Rick. And they continue to go side by side through the next part of the complex, and LB gets the advantage over the Red Bull through turn 3 and takes the position. Will Rick come back at him? I don't think he's got anything to fight with left. He looks to the inside but thinks better of it, and LB gets himself up another place. LB is going to look to get himself up ahead of Ghost next, and maybe even his teammate for P4. It'd be a 4-5 finish for Ferrari, which would be a very good result for the Constructors' Championship contenders, who are currently sat in P3. No, P4, sorry. I'm not sure if LB's points count towards the Constructors. Please do correct me if I'm wrong. I know they went to the drivers, but they might as well to the Constructors. This is, I think LB is currently our Tier 2 Championship leader. I haven't seen the standings yet, as the stewards report hasn't been released, or unless it has, I'll have to check. But LB could be seeing himself in Tier 1 very, very soon. As a permanent driver, not just a reserve, as he's gone very deep over the curb there. I'm not exactly sure what happened. I wasn't looking at that moment, but Rick has managed to find a way through, and they're going wheel to wheel, drag race to the hairpin, and Rick has that inside line and squeezes LB out. Oh, Rick gets a bit of a tank snap, and there's a little bit of contact between the two, perhaps, so LB keeps the place for now. Rick, I think LB has given the place back to the Red Bull, seeing he was at fault there. So LB back down a place which Ghost will be happy about, as Rick has dropped back by 1.6 seconds. And we've got a yellow flag. What's going on here? Is that SW just getting out of the way? Yes, it is. And Bossy has gone for another spin as well. These two have really not had a good day this evening. MX and Lifebout are still just plodding along in P2 and 3. Lifebout with that penalty, so he will lose out to the German, as Jackalacco has got up ahead of Hartmann and finds himself with a time penalty now as well. LB all over the back of Rick again. Rick defends to the inside, but LB just breezes straight past. Ghost now past Tinoz as well. So those medium tyres finally have lost all their advantage that they had, and it's now going to start falling into the clutches of the cars behind. Ghost up ahead, and he needs to try and run away as far as he can, but the guys behind him don't have penalties, so that time penalty will drop Ghost way back down to the back of this train into P7, maybe even P8, but I think the Moniac's penalties are far greater than the 4-time sprint champions penalties situation. Yeah, no, not published yet, the Tier 2 standings, so I'm sure they'll be published very soon. Closing laps now. We've got 4 laps of this race remaining. It's a 5-6 for Ferrari at the moment. Looking good as MX has managed to find a way past Lifebout. There's a move he didn't need to do, but he wanted to do it. He wanted that on-track place and has got it off of the Dutchman, and will look to just sail away from him now. He's been patient and waited, but he's not got a lot of VRS left to use, so Lifebout will perhaps look to come straight back at him. And Tinoz under threat from his teammate, who has almost half his battery left. Ghost is in battery saving mode. He needs to save as much as he can. Rick has dropped way off this fight and has sees himself down in P7 for the moment. That's a shame for the championship leader. Bossy, another spin perhaps, or is that Hartmann this time? No, it's still Bossy. Force of habit saying it as he gets back on the track and gets going again. It's all about persistence. You still get points, even if you're in last place. You still get points. You may as well finish the race. There's no point retiring. Well, unless of course you feel like you've got some other stuff to do, or just feel like it will be a bit more beneficial to do so. But those mediums holding out, then it looks like they will last to the end. The one-stop strategy has done fairly well for Ghost. Well, not too well for Ghost and Rick, actually. I think They're in the same place as they started. LB is hot for driver of the day. He's up 10 places from the start. Look at penalty situation again. Lifeboat goes for 3. 3 for Demoniac. 3 for Jacko. 6 for Hartman. 15 for Bossy. 9 for SW. Ferrari's chasing. Ghost is doing an incredible job to keep him behind. I think Tinoz might benefit from letting LB past, but Tinoz is in the championship fight, so perhaps not. But our top, well, it still stands at the moment that MX will be leading the championship on countback, but Rick will drop way back. He may even drop behind Tinoz. This way, Tinoz is going to gain 2 points over him, so perhaps not, as it seems. But is LB going to be let past? He's pulls to the inside. He's not being let past as Tinoz and LB go wheel to wheel, side by side. Old rivals from Tier 2, of course, as LB on those soft tyres gets past his teammate. LB will be looking ahead to Ghost. Ghost has got a lap and a half to hold off that charging Ferrari as Jacko's into the pits again. An attempt for fastest lap. This is, I believe so. He'll definitely have a little less drag on him as he isn't wearing his helmet. I don't know if the human head is aerodynamically sound, to be honest. I mean, you're certainly not protected if a piece of carbon fibre comes flying into the halo, that's for sure. Anyway, last few laps now. I'll keep an eye on this fight as URL Chris has started the final lap. Has led from start to finish. It's been an incredible performance from the debutant, and he's making his final tour of the circuit in that papaya orange McLaren car. But here comes LB charging down the main straight. Ghost has nothing left to fight with, and LB gets ahead of the AlphaTauri. But LB has a time penalty, so they're both going to lose out to Tinoz, who is just behind them, maybe even Rick. Let's have a look. Penalty situation, yeah, 3 seconds to the two of them. Maybe gap to leader won't help me at all. Rick might see himself in contention to get up into P5, so he might find himself not losing out too much in this championship fight. Lifeboat's got ahead of MX, but that doesn't matter too much as MX has that time, as Lifeboat has that time penalty to concern himself with. So MX has got P2 as we'll switch over to that orange McLaren. URL Chris leads from start to finish, a pole time of 1 minute 16.2. Does he get fastest lap on the last lap? He doesn't, but he does win his first race here with us at APPF1, and Lifebout comes home to claim P3 as MX takes P2 away from him on penalties. Lifebout comes across the line now. What I'm interested in is where Rick finishes. He's pushing and pushing and pushing. Does he get himself into P5 on penalties? No, he misses out by 600ths of a second. That is incredibly tight margins, and he'll be kicking himself for that. He'll lose out a little bit on the championship, not too much to his rival. MX will take our championship lead then, barring any steward decisions that change the race result dramatically. Down comes Hartman, a decent race from the American reserve driver from Tier 2, and as he comes across the line to finish that one, Jackalacco, does he get fastest lap? We will have to wait and see. He's coming around the final corner now, very low on fuel is the Red Bull, so he should be as light as a feather. He does. It's fastest lap for Jackalacco, 17.7. I'm going to go and have a look at the lap records for you guys so we can see if we've got any new ones on the grid. So 16.2 for quali and a 17.7 So let's have a look. Portugal will be at the bottom. So qualifying, it is a new qualifying lap record. The previous holder was Ghost on a 16.6. So URL Chris gets himself his first lap record as well as a win. So a proper grand slam as he lifts the trophy on the podium there. New lap record, well done. And Jack Alacco gets himself on the lap records board another time. Actually, I don't think he's on there at all at the moment. No, there he is. Yeah, he holds the lap record at Brazil, and he now holds the lap record at Portimao of a 17.7. Ghost losing 2 of his lap record claims. There we go, then those are your results. URL Chris had a dominant performance and gets himself the Grand Slam in this race and takes the win from pole to flag. MX lines up, joins him on the podium along with the Dutchman of Lifebout. MX is now your championship leader, barring any stewarding decisions. Tinnels and LB Racing finished P4 and 5 for Ferrari, a good haul of points. Whether that changes the standings in the constructors dramatically or not will be yet to find out. Someone will have to tell me. Ghost, Rick, Eat My Dust, Demoniac and Zidane round off the rest of the top 10 with Hartman, Jack Alacco, who claims fastest lap, RJ Blair, Bossy Vamos, SW finishing off the rest of the grid, with Womax not making it to the end. Big well done to everybody. It wasn't the most climactic of races, but there was definitely some great racing to be had all around, and a very well done to you guys in Tier 1. The championship is really heating up now. Our top 4 are chopping and changing. MX will likely take the lead, and Ferrari perhaps get themselves at the top of the constructors' standings. For the moment, I'll just have a look. LB with no helmet and no wheel. Yes, indeed. But yeah, that was an incredible race from Tier 1, and we've got 3 rounds left to go. We're off to Spa next weekend, not next weekend, well, next Friday, so the start of the weekend, I suppose, for a race in the Belgian hills of the Ardennes. I believe it's in the Ardennes. I could be wrong. But anyway, I'm going to stop blabbering on now and say my final piece. If you've been watching the stream and have liked what you've seen, please do make sure you've seen, give a like to the stream and subscribe to the channel if you've not done so already. I'm on that hunt for 100 subscribers and we're 19 away, and I want to beat Ghost there, but he might just pip me. Anyways, there's also, make sure you check out all of the APPF1 affiliates. Make sure you give them all the love and support you can. And as well, check out Tier 1 sponsor High Dive Apparel over on their website, highdiveapparel.com, and see the awesome apparel that they have on offer. But anyway, I'm going to wrap things up. I'm going to go and get myself another cup of tea ready for the next commentary stream with Ghost in about 20 minutes time or so. So I'll see you guys over there if you're interested. But thank you for tuning in this evening, and I will see you well, in a moment, or I will see you next time we go racing. Bye bye, guys.